This is Art Prevails Podcast, a show where we pick the minds of creatives of all kinds, from folks who combine paper and pen, put brush to canvas, to those who tell stories with their voices and create art with their dances. This be the show for artists, by artists, about artists, sitting around, shooting the breeze, talking about process and impact and the songs you keep looped on repeat. So pull up a seat, stay a while. This is gonna be a good one.
Yo, welcome to the Art Prevails Podcast. I'm Darius Daughtry.
And I'm Naya Hardman.
We are here doing our convo with creatives and everything. So we're going to get into that in a minute. But Naya, what's good?
Just coming out from the holiday seasons.
Holidays. So was Santa nice to you? Or you still believe in Santa Claus?
I do not. I never believed in Santa Claus. My parents didn't believe in that.
Ever?
No. I knew who he was, but I knew he wasn't the one giving me gifts. My parents made sure that we know that they were the ones that bought the gifts and gave it to us. I don't think we even ever put out cookies or anything. We never did all that.
So when you're 4 years old, you're like, yeah, Mom.
Thanks.
I want this. Thank you for my bike. For my
Pretty
process.
much. Pretty much.
Did you make fun of the kids in school who believed in Santa Claus?
I was the girl that would always spoil it, that Santa wasn't real. And I would get in fights and that stuff. But
yeah, that's cool.
Hey, they got to learn one day.
Right.
But shame on me for ruining it.
No, sometimes you got to be the teacher.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Okay. Cool. All right. So that's interesting. So was your, Christmas holiday cool?
It was. I had my two uncles come down from Tallahassee, so that was nice to see them. We had lots of good eats. I made banana pudding for the first time, a secret recipe, and it turned out amazing. So that's my new thing now.
A secret recipe?
It's a super secret recipe. I cannot share it with anyone, actually. I'll write it down and put it in my will or something. So maybe when I die, someone will have it. But
did the person who posted it on the internet, did they tell you that you can't share it with anyone?
Why would you assume that I got it from the internet?
When you Googled it, did you Google secret banana pudding recipe?
Why would you make such an assumption? Maybe it came straight from the banana pudding goddesses.
But you don't believe in Santa Claus, but you believe in the banana
pudding goddesses. Yes, I do. And they whispered it into my ear, and that's how I have it. And it was great. So banana pudding's my thing now.
Okay.
Banana pudding girl.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I guess we'll see. If you decide to share not the secret recipe, but actually.
I'll share the pudding.
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up.
What about you though? You have a nice holiday?
Yeah, it was cool. I'm all about relaxing when I can, so it was a very uneventful kind of holiday.
Okay.
And my most immediate family, my nieces, one is 7 and one is 14. The 14-year-old, she's whatever. The 7-year-old, she was super into Santa Claus this year for some reason, super into it, telling me all about his goings and comings, and Uncle D, he knows if you've been good or not. I know the song.
That was always creepy to me.
I know the song, and so I would so when he gets ready to leave, how does he get to everybody's house at the same time? He said, well, I mean, he has a very fast, his sleigh's fast with the reindeer. I'm like, all right, so what if you don't have a chimney? How does he get in? He blinks his eyes and he's able to get in. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. But it was fun. We had a good time, and it was chill.
Nice.
New Year is about to come, so we're here. By the time this episode drops, we'll be in 2021. So, are you somebody that does resolutions?
I do them, even though my mom is a firm believer, and that kind of got passed on to me, that you should just try to work on yourself every day, not just try to change for New Year's. Just like, because she's a gym rat, so she always hates when the gym always becomes packed that first week of New Year's.
That first week, it's like, why are y'all doing it?
Exactly, and then it just falls out.
Listen, I feel her, right? Because you have your schedule, you know what it feels like. And so then you come in and like all these extra people are there.
Exactly.
Looking like, what are y'all doing? And then, you know, in a month they're gone anyway. So
exactly.
Stay home. Okay.
So I have resolutions, but I'm going to try to do that. My resolutions are just like to write more, which is kind of like my everyday thing. And I think I do want to learn a new skill, but that's kind of also like an everyday thing that I want to work on throughout the whole year. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I find it interesting, you know, that, and I guess I get it. I'm not like, I don't poo-poo on people's process, but the fact that we wait until like January 1st to say, I'm going to start doing this on January 1st. Sometimes, I mean, we need a marker or something to begin.
Yes.
But like, you know, you say you've on September 13th, you're like, man, I need to get my life together. Man, when the new year comes, I'm on it.
You're just gonna wait the 3 months.
I'm gonna wait 3 months before I start eating right. I'm just gonna eat like crap right now. But when January 1st hits, you know, I'm
gonna change.
I'm gonna change. So that's always interesting for me. I myself, like, I kind of more so connect with my birthday, which is May. So like that's kind of, when I think of like a new year, that's kind of like a new year for me. And as opposed to doing it all on the 1st.
Right.
And so I kind of set goals around that time or so. But this year I'm thinking about, I was talking to someone that's just last night about doing a vision board, and I've never done a vision board before.
I have. They're pretty fun. It's nice to like see your dreams laid out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that. Well, today or tomorrow, something, you know, we'll see.
You should.
I don't know, we'll see. But so we'll get into some of that, you know, with our guest. Our guest today is officially like family, right? You know, he's a part of Art Prevails Project, an amazing young man, the Marnino Toussaint. And, you know, we're going to see if he's, I can't imagine he's much of a resolution kind of guy, like a New Year's resolution kind of guy. I think he's more like you said, every day, try to work on it. I don't know. We'll see, though.
Yeah. Who knows? Guess he'll have to tell us himself.
I guess he'll have to tell us himself, and we'll do that. So everybody that's listening, make sure you don't go anywhere. We're going to have this great conversation with singer, songwriter, poet, organizer, activist, actor, producer, educator, Marnino Toussaint in just 2 seconds, really like 4 seconds. So you count to 4 and he'll be here. So count.
Just like magic.
Welcome to the Art Prevails podcast. We are here today. As we said before, I'm Darius.
And I'm Naya.
And we're excited for today's show. Super excited. And you better be excited, because this is going to be one of those shows that you're going to be like, yo, I got to listen to this again tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow, and then a week after the day after tomorrow as well. So make sure you are tuned in, and make sure you let everybody know that we are talking today with the amazing, multi-talented Mr. Marnino Toussaint.
Yes. Marnino Toussaint is a South Florida-based poet, singer, rapper, and art educator. Marnino has been on the stages of TEDx Miami, Broward 100's Do One Day, and has worked alongside of the likes of actors Omari Hardwick and Victoria Justice, author Mary Pope Osborne, and has opened for hip-hop legend Chuck D. This year, Marnino had the opportunity to perform at the Geffen Playhouse in Los Angeles, California, as part of the ceremony honoring musical legend and activist Harry Belafonte. While he loves to sing about love, Marnino lives to inspire activism and connectivity in his community. Marnino gives back to the community by teaching poetry and songwriting workshops as part of the Art Prevails Project. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome, Nino.
What's up?
Yeah, so how are you doing? What's new? What's going on?
Nothing's new.
Nothing's new.
Quarantine life.
Yeah. That's literally, I mean, since March. life has been pretty like flat, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm blessed, you know, nobody is sick, and I have space and time to be creative and, like, you know, do the things I do with the project and all that. But I don't think there's a lot of ups and downs in life right now. Like, you know, it's interesting.
I feel you.
Kind of like a metronome. Yeah. Life is like a metronome right now, huh?
What do you mean? Like,
so like a metronome is kind of like it's a constant
goes back and forth. Yes.
But yeah, it's kind of like, man, come on, man. I thought that was a great analogy, and you're just like, oh, what do you mean? Like,
I didn't, you know, I had to think. I wasn't using my critical thinking skills.
Yeah, come on,
that's
man.
What it was.
Come through.
It's not that often that someone uses the word metronome in a sentence, so you gotta give us some grace. That's a little advanced.
But wait a minute now.
But for me,
for a musician, someone who does music, that is
okay. In the context,
that's something that probably happens every day. That's an everyday.
But you know what my mind was going to, like, because the metronome keeps things, like, you know, it keeps the music together. So it's like life is keeping, like, I don't know why. I was like, what do you mean life is keeping me together? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't. Okay.
But it keeps it constant. So yeah.
Yeah. So look, man, you know, now you gave that great bio for you, a little short bio, but tell the people a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, you know, what you're into, you know, that kind of things.
Yeah. So all of that stuff is a lie before. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, like I'm from here, and here is Miramar, Florida. You know, it's funny because, like, you know, for Florida, I think, or South Florida, everybody just calls it Miami, right? And so I'll be like, I'm from here, but I'm like, I'm not necessarily from Miami. I'm from Miramar, which is the most special and unspecial city at the same time. Like, you know, like there's like, I think it's like for anybody else, you know, is there's those little things that you love about where you're from, but then also you go to other places and you're like, oh man, y'all have a lot of like special little niches and all of that that happen in your community. And like an example, so growing up, I never left like Miramar, right? So like barely ever, like even to go to like Fort Lauderdale. So, and then I met people from Fort Lauderdale and they're like, yeah, we got the place called Deep Side, and, you know, we hang out at Deep Side, and we got the swap shop, and we have this and that and the third. And I'm like, man, Miramar, we have Moby's Chicken, you know what I'm saying? And then like, oh, and a cool spot called Moho Donuts, you know, and then that's really it. Like there's not a lot, but I think it's the people. There's a lot of artists from Miramar that are super talented. Johnny Depp went to my high school. All of those.
Yeah.
He doesn't claim it though.
Did you know?
Wait, hold on. No. We had separate classes.
It's like a teacher now.
Yeah. No, but it's funny. Like, there's a lot of people like him. Ace Hood went to my middle school for a period of time, apparently. People like Denzel Curry went to my middle school, you know, so there's like a lot of like artists that made like a big appearance in the industry that like came from Miramar. So it's interesting like that, you know?
Wait a minute. Time out. So not to, I mean, you can tell us more about you, but not to like disparage any of those people that you just named. But you just, so you just said there are a lot of people who made a big dent in the industry, who came from Miramar. And you said Johnny Depp. And then you follow that up with Ace Hood, who was, I like Ace Hood.
Hustle hard.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and Denzel Curry, you know, as the representatives of a lot of people who have made a huge splash in the entertainment industry.
I think but you know, first of all, Johnny Depp is hard to follow. I probably should have started with like
maybe
went opposite way, and then it'd be like, wow, there really is a lot. But I think that no, that's a lie. Never mind. Let me not bring that. I was going to say Jason Derulo. He's from Dillard High School. But I think for how small Miramar is, just like I think there's probably more than that 3, but like to even have 3 is like, whoa, that's impressive. You know, like the 3 people who came from the city that's literally just a strip in between Pembroke Pines and Miami Gardens. You know. So.
True that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you went on a tangent about how great Miramar was.
Yeah. I don't know. I love it.
But what about you? Like,
all that to say, yeah, like, because that's like a big part of like me as an artist. I think I am a person who I firmly believe for the first 16 years of my life, I did not know what the heck I was going to do with myself. I didn't have any talent. I played basketball averagely, you know, so like there was no, I genuinely didn't have anything that I felt was mine. Like I acted a little bit, and it's a hobby of mine, but I can genuinely say that it wasn't my purpose. And so the reason I bring up Miramar is because I went to Miramar High School, met a dope teacher who I always give credit, Miss Clarrington. We call her Mom. And she's there's 2 people that are like the reason I started creating. It's one guy, his name, we called him Johnny Boy, right? And in 9th grade, I was a super introvert. And so now I tell people I'm an omnivert, right? I feel like with the right people, I can be extroverted, but most of the time I'm an introvert. You know, it just depends on the place. But at that time I was completely introverted. And I'm sitting in this class, I have no friends, nobody. And this guy comes up to me for no reason. He's like, hey, yo, we're doing a cipher. You want to pull up? And I'm like, a what? And he's like, just come, bro. He's like, just come, bro. So we go. And they used to happen in this little circle that everybody called the box in the school. And it was literally like a little box that was underneath the theater. And it's just these guys and they're rapping, they're spitting, they're going crazy. And my eyes were like, I was like, oh my God, rose-colored glasses, you know? Like this is the dopest thing I've ever seen. So I told you this story before. So you already judged me for it. So now don't judge me, right?
But okay.
Yeah. So the first thing I do after that, right, is I go home and I was like, I want to do this. So I go to Google and I type in raps on Google, literally. And
just raps?
Just raps. That's what I'm like, raps. And then I find this website that just has random people's verses. And I go and I memorize a verse from this website. And then the next time I go into the cipher, I come and I spit this verse that I completely plagiarized and stole. Nobody found out, luckily. There was some people who got found out doing that, and they never made it to another cipher after that. So luckily, I made it past it. But after that, I did this somebody else's verse. They're like, yo, this man's crazy. Yeah. They hyped me up. And I was like, this is amazing. This is it. This is what I want to do.
This is what I'm born to do. I'm born to steal people's work and perform it. Yes.
So I steal it. And then I steal a second one. And then the third time I steal one, but I add some of my own lines to it. And then like over time, I start stealing less and I start writing my own verses. And just that doesn't mean they started being good. But they were my own at some point. And so that guy, Johnny Boy, got credit for that. And then Miss Clarrington, she gets credit for actually like kind of honing the skill. She was one person. After a while, people got to know me for doing those ciphers. And she's like, hey, you should join my poetry club. And I'm like, I'm not going to do poetry. Funny story. And this story goes on. So toxic masculinity, patriarchy, I don't know, whatever it is. I was like, I will not write a poem in my life. Like, I was like, I will never do that. That's not, at that age and that time in my life. She pulled me and she's like, it's fine, rap in this contest. So I had all intentions to rap. Then I got my heart broken, some. And I write this poem, this love poem, that I go on and use it to win this poetry slam and all of that stuff. And so from that moment on, like those 2 things, I was like, man, I really love words. And that it was important too, because I think it made me realize it wasn't just rapping. It was genuinely about words for me. It was like I can do cool things with words that I really enjoy. And because of that, then I started liking learning about words. I'm like, I'll take this English course. Like, but beforehand, it's like, oh, you want me to write? Like, you know, it's like, you know, it just kind of shifted the way I viewed words in my life. And so that is one of the, like, two of the big people I credit for.
Well, big people, right? Three, because the girl that broke your heart, like she helped you out as well. So she deserves a fair amount of credit as well. Johnny Boy, Miss Clarendon, and you know, what's her name?
To be remained unnamed. To remain unnamed.
And I feel like it's only fair you have to credit the people whose raps you stole, because without them, you wouldn't have.
I would, but you know, I stole it and I didn't even. I erased the name and then I don't remember.
It was yours. You just made it.
Yeah, it was 100% fine. They were also not really great for me. Like, I think about it, but you know, I wonder what like kids like who are like ninth graders or middle schoolers are rapping like now when they're trying to imitate somebody. But at that time, it was gun raps. Like, and I'm like, I hate guns. You know, I've never held one. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like these raps I'm still. It's like, yo, the pistol goes blah blah blah. You know, and it's like
pulling back, click clack on you, blasting you. You know, putting holes.
It was literally that. And I looked back.
Wait, because that was my rhyme right there. Did you steal my rhyme? I'm thinking you might have stolen one of my rhymes.
Yeah,
that would be a plot twist.
There's a high chance. Maybe on Facebook I have, man, and now that I think about it, I was really bold with the stealing too, because I went so far as to even post it on Facebook. Like, you know, it's like proof of it. I wonder if it's still there, you know.
We need to pull up the archives and test those and see if you can write something better than what you were doing. That when I was that Fred Johnson, the killer, wrote, you know, back in the day.
I got nothing on me now, man.
The killer can't hang, huh?
Wow. But when you actually did start writing your own stuff and like actually getting into it, did your relationship with words and the art form change? Because you weren't just performing words. It was like words that you wrote and like you had a connection to it. So did that make you pursue it more, get deeper into it?
Yeah, I think so. There's like two things that happen, right? And so this gets emotional, but this is part of the story, right? One, the first part is not emotional. One, I just genuinely, once I realized this is something I wanted to do, even though I wasn't doing it myself technically, I'm the type of person who wants to be the best, you know, at whatever I really put my mind to. Like, I think it's funny. If I really don't care, you know, you can see that, right? It's like, yo, he's not giving it effort, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, when I care, I have to be number one. Like, it's like this Olympian mindset for when it comes to those things. So that's where it came from. Like, it was like, okay, I know that the best are not stealing, so I got to make my own words. Okay, I know that the best are doing like flows like this. Okay, I got to go study Eminem and Nas. I know the best are doing this, blah, blah, blah. So I think it just became like part of that mindset to always find that next level. And then the other thing was, I think the real connection to it came after this story, which is, so my grandma, this is where it's emotional, right? So my grandma was like my mom, right? My first mom, like my mom is in my life, but my mom even knows this. My grandma was my first mom and she was the second. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, right? Because she came from Haiti when I was born, essentially. And we essentially, while she was learning English, I was learning Creole. We just did everything together. And so when my grandma was passing, she was put into a medically induced coma. This was 2014. And so this is the moment I say I really decided to be like serious about things. She was put in the medically induced coma. And I remember hearing these stories about people, and like when they're in comas, if you speak to them, they'll be able to hear you, you know? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write her something right now. These doctors say she has 5 days. This is day 1. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna write her something. And on like day 5, I'm gonna read it to her. I'm writing. Day 2, I decide, you know what? I'm just going to read what I have right now, and then we'll continue on. And I'm reading this poem, and on the last word of the poem, she flatlines, right? And so in that moment, it was hard. Like it was I'm yelling at the doctors. I'm like, you said 5, like, but after weeks, months, whatever, and looking back, I was like, man, the same way she came in with me, I left with her. It was just me and her, other people had to work and whatever. And I was like, man, I feel like this thing, more than it just being like my thing now. Like, I feel like poetry and rapping and music is my thing, but I was like, it also gives me this connection to her. It's the last thing I did with her. So that was a moment that really made me connect to it like that.
Man, that's such an amazing story, man. Like
Right?
you got me emotional over here, man. Like,
right? Maybe sweating on my face.
I wasn't prepared for that, man. Yeah. So what's interesting about that is like, I don't know if something about artists or men and grandmas and stuff, because like my grandma is my first mom as well. My mom was in my life, but she worked a lot, so I was the first grandchild. And my mom, was like, I gotta provide for my son because my dad wasn't around. And so, grandma was the one that was like there. I was always with her. And even, like you guys know, like a couple years ago, I was on Wheel of Fortune, but like my love of Wheel of Fortune came from my grandma, and like sitting there with her. And the only reason I really auditioned for Wheel of Fortune was so that my grandma can see me on Wheel of Fortune, because she had told me when I was younger, she's like, one day you can do that. You should go on there one day. You're going to be on there one day. And so that was the only reason I actually said, okay, I'm going to go and audition to be on that. And I wanted to recreate that moment of me sitting next to her and watching me on the screen.